Have you ever received news and thought, it is too late now, too late to fix what broke, too late to restore what was lost, too late for the answer to arrive, too late for anything to change? Maybe someone gave you a diagnosis. Maybe a door closed that you had waited years for. Maybe the relationship that mattered most fell apart before you could stop it, and the voice in your head said, "This is over." I want to speak to that word today, because too late is not in my vocabulary, and what you are about to hear is going to change the way you understand every season that looked like it ended too soon. My child, I have heard you say it, in the quiet moments, in the middle of the night when hope gets heavy. I have heard you tell yourself that it is too late for you, too late for that dream, too late for that healing, too late for that change to come. But listen to me closely, because what I am about to tell you is true of every situation you've ever called finished. My timing does not follow your calendar. In Isaiah chapter 55, verse 8, I declared, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways." And in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11, it is written, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." Everything. Not everything except your situation. Not everything that was not already too far gone. Everything. The word "too late" is a human verdict, spoken on a case that is still in my hands, and I have never once been behind. There was a man named Lazarus who was sick, gravely sick, and his sisters Mary and Martha sent word to my son, "Lord, the one you love is sick." My son heard the message, and he stayed where he was for 2 more days. He did not rush. He did not panic. He did not arrive in time to heal him. Lazarus died, and when my son finally arrived, Martha came to meet him and said, and hear the grief in her voice, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. If you had been here." She thought he had been too slow. She thought he had missed the moment. She thought the window had closed. My son said to her, "Your brother will rise again." She thought he meant the resurrection at the end of time. She had no idea what he meant for that afternoon, because my son walked to the tomb. He wept with those who wept, and then he called into a cave where a man had been dead for 4 days. "Lazarus, come out." And Lazarus walked out, not because my son arrived on time, but because my son arrived at the moment that would change not just Lazarus, but everyone watching. There was nothing to be healed from anymore. There was only something to be raised from, and that is how I work. When things appear to be too late, I do not heal the situation, I raise it. There was a man named Jairus, a synagogue leader, who fell at my son's feet in the middle of a crowd and begged him to come to his house. His daughter was dying. My son went with him, and while they were still on the way, while my son was still walking toward that house, someone came from Jairus' home with a message. "Your daughter is dead. Why bother the teacher anymore? Why bother?" As if death were the final word, as if the arriving of bad news meant the story was already over. Jairus heard those words, and my son heard them too. And then, without hesitation, my son turned to Jairus and said, "Don't be afraid. Just believe." He did not stop walking. He did not say, "I'm sorry, we're too late." He kept moving, because to me, the message of death is not a stop sign. It is a seat up. My son entered that house, took the girl by the hand, and said, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." And she got up, and the crowd that had been told to leave, the ones who had already started mourning, were left without words. Because when I am still walking toward your situation, the news of its death does not stop me. I do not change direction when things get worse. I keep walking. There was a woman in Samaria who came to draw water at noon, not the morning when everyone else came. Noon, the hottest hour, when she was sure to be alone. She had been married 5 times. The man she was with now was not her husband. She had learned to avoid the looks, the whispers, the weight of being known. and found lacking. She came at noon because she thought, "This is where people like me belong." In the heat, alone, after everyone else has gone. But when she arrived at the well, there was someone sitting there, my son, who had deliberately chosen to walk through Samaria, when Jews did not go that way, who had deliberately sat at that well at that hour, not by accident, waiting for her specifically. He asked her for water, and what unfolded was a conversation, unlike any she had ever had, because he knew everything about her, and spoke to her anyway, not with condemnation, with invitation. If you knew who it is that is speaking to you, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water. She had come at noon because she believed it was too late for someone like her to be seen in any other light, but I had already arranged to be sitting at the well when she arrived. She thought she was the one who was late. She did not know I was the one who had been waiting. Do you see what these three stories share? In each one, someone arrived with the verdict of too late. The sisters of Lazarus, the messenger from Jairus' house, the woman herself who had already passed judgment on her own life, and in each one, I was not behind. I was precisely on time with the greater thing I intended to do. What looks like a delay from where you stand often looks like perfect positioning from where I stand. I am not slow. I am strategic. I am not absent. I am already at the well, waiting. I am not stopped by the messenger. I am still walking toward your house. And Lazarus, the one already 4 days gone, is my answer to every voice that has told you it is too late. 4 days. And he walked out. Now I speak over every verdict that said finished. That verdict is not mine. Over the dream they said would never come back. I say, it has not been buried. It has been planted. Over the door they said had closed for good. I say, I close doors no one can open, and open doors no one can close. Over the situation that has been 4 days in the tomb, I say, come out. Over the life that learned to arrive at noon, alone, ashamed, avoiding every eye, I say, I am already sitting at the well. I came this way specifically for you. Over the word too late spoken over your family, your health, your future, your hope, I declare, what I have not released, no season can take. My timing has never been wrong, and it will not start with you. I see the thing you have already given up on. You stopped expecting it. You stopped praying about it. You made peace, or tried to, with the idea that this particular thing would not happen. But I want you to hear this. The silence on my end was not absence. It was preparation. There is a moment approaching, and it is not as far as you think, where something you filed away is finished, will begin to move again. Not because you figured out the right formula, not because you finally believed hard enough, because I was never late. I was on my way the whole time, and what I raise will be more visible, more undeniable, more clearly mine, because of how long it was in the tomb. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. If this message found you today, type "it is not too late" in the comments below. God is still walking toward your situation. He has not changed direction. Share this with someone who has received news that told them the story was over. They need to hear today that God was already on his way. If this channel has been a place where you heard something true, subscribe and turn on notifications. There is more ahead, more of his voice, more of his timing, which has never once been wrong. It is not too late. It has never been too late.